Well, howdy do, buckaroos. This is Tom the Beer Whisperer. How the heck are you? Whew, it's a warm and muggy one here in Springfield, Mo. I'm being joined today by Maria Davon from Girl Next Door beer video. So, Maria, say hi and tell us what you're drinking.
Hi, Tom. Thank you for having me today on New Beer Sunday. I love Sunday. I love New Beer Sunday. I haven't seen you in a while. Last time we chatted, I was cooking, and I'm cooking today. And today I have the Oktoberfest from Genesee, which is a regional favorite brewer of mine.
So that brewery's not far from you, is that correct?
No, it's as far goes,
Relatively,
it's not terrible. But I mean, it's not next door.
but they're in the same state, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Genesee is in Rochester, I think, or
And
unless they call it a different city. But yeah,
how far is that from where you are?
not too far, just a couple of hours.
Okay, well, it's not too bad. That's usually anything within a couple-hour drive I refer to as a local brewery myself.
We have actually a couple. Here's my point. We have actually a local brewery in Ithaca, so I like to make a distinction. I drink a lot of Genesee, but they're not in the same town. Rochester is a good 3 hours west, and they are like the regional mainstay, right? The cheap macro beer that the locals around here all know. Like you've heard people say Jenny Cream Ale,
Hmm.
or I'll just have a Jenny. They're talking about Genesee.
But they're starting to branch out and bring some old recipes back and do some new ones, isn't that right?
They are. Now this is from the big brewery, the big Genesee brewery. They have a pilot batch brewery that's a little bit smaller, where I went to actually with Jay Terrio, and they made the beer that I reviewed today for New Beer Sunday. They made a classic style and alt beer, a Dusseldorf style alt beer. And I had that today. And so now to share with you, I have the Oktoberfest from the big side.
Now, as far as an Oktoberfest go, does it fall within style guidelines?
I like it. I think it does. It's toasty. It's Genesee, I think, is known for making the adjunct lager, right? The cream ale and the adjunct lager that they do. I don't really know if this beer has any adjuncts in it. So I can't say if it's 100%.
Well, how
But I
does it
think
taste? Does it taste like a classic
it does. I think it
Oktoberfest?
has Munich malt in it, and the flavor is it's mild, it's toasty, and what I'm finding with the Oktoberfest is the very clean ones, the ones that are extremely well made, have just a beautiful crisp finish that's so light. There's all this flavor, this beautiful malty flavor, and some brewers will go a little bit lighter, biscuity, and some will go a little bit heartier and darker. The brewers are throwing it all out there, with abandon. I think this year, after Sierra Nevada had such a brilliant year last year, and you're seeing all different variations within this style.
Well, the one that really has stood out to me so far this year was the Firestone Walker Oktoberfest. That one
The
really jumped
Oktoberfest,
out at
yeah.
me. That one was very true to style. I mean, it was there. It was for me. It was just on point on every level. I really enjoyed that one a lot.
And that's a milder and a paler one. The Oktoberfest, if I remember right, is on the paler side of the scale. And this one
It,
is right in the middle, right?
yeah, there
This
you
one
go.
is basically perfect amber, is just like your darker amber, if you could say light or dark amber. And some of the Oktoberfest can have a little bit more color in them even than this and be like
Mhm.
coppery, almost coppery.
Some of them have had a darker. I remember the Firestone looking pretty close to what you're holding there, but it just had a nice feel to it. It really had those nice toasted malts. It was meant to be close to a traditional Märzen, and for me, I just thought it was perfect. It had those perfect toasted malt notes. It was a little nutty. was a little dry in the finish. It was a perfect Märzen lager.
And if I remember right, because I had it, let me see, I think in 2013 was my one and only time with that. It was light in color and it had a noble hop. It was spicy, grassy, and just like you said, smooth and delightful, and reminds me a little bit of Sierra Nevadas, if I remember right. Because I think I said, what did I say in my review? I said something like, it reminds me of a Maybach. It's so gentle with the hops.
I don't remember. This is the first year I've had it, so I don't know if it's changed since then. No, I didn't have it then. My recollection of it this year was it was more robust, more like a traditional Oktoberfest or Märzen. I wasn't really getting any Maybach notes from it, but again, it could have.
Really, because I remember thinking, boy, this is so light, such a light color, such a, you know, had a little bit of a hoppy flavor to it. I thought this is delightful, and was
It
one
did
of
have
the
a
ones
very herbal hop finish. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, you know who had a lovely hop on theirs this year was Ellicottville, and I haven't reviewed it yet, right? Because it's going to be one of those that, like, I'm going to say stuff about it. The Ellicottville beer this year had kind of a hazy appearance and a color that's a little bit different than most of the other ones, but it had a very fresh Hallertau hop on it. Was so beautifully floral and crisp and spicy, and I remember that the Firestone Walker Oktoberfest was kind of grassier, right? And I don't know what hop they used in that one, but it would be interesting to have it again. And it just came out in pint cans, which is another good thing.
Yeah, that's how I picked it up. Yeah, I was in pint cans. Yeah, that's how I got it. I said I haven't had it in years past. This is the first year I've had it, and I really liked it a lot.
Well, and the beer you're drinking now, that Luponic Distortion, that's one of their, brewers are kind of saying, let's see what we can do, right? And that's one of the beers where they're doing that beer. That's the second revolution.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing that beer a little bit each time. It's going to be different each time.
Yeah, I missed the first incarnation. This is the second, so yeah. So I don't know what the difference was between the first one. I missed that incarnation altogether. But this one is very enjoyable. It's a very nice summer. I guess they mean it to be more of an APA than an IPA. It's got a nice malt middle. It's just a touch sweet.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I love Firestone Walker. When I go shopping, I love to see what they have coming out next. And they're famous, right, for their stouts, the big beers that they do, right, the Parabola. And they do other beer styles as well. They do that Luponic Distortion. They make a terrific IPA that I like, the Union Jack, the Double Jack.
Nice.
They have one of the
Double Jack is
IPAs.
big. What's interesting about the Double Jack is there's nothing trendy about that beer. There's a lot of folks trying to do a very trendy double IPA, kind of light in the middle, a whole lot of hops. But that Double Jack is just great big. It's in your face. I just like that beer a lot.
I do too. Double Jack was one of the first bombers I ever bought, and I remember thinking, hot stuff, baby. I love this. What kind of beer is this? It's fruity. Like you said, it was a little sweet, had a good malt on it. And the Union Jack, right, conversely, is like a quintessential light-bodied, fresh, like, IPA that has like a citrusy, just tastes like fresh citrus.
Yeah.
What are you cooking today? You got something on the stove?
No, actually, I'm just heating up some coals. I'll probably have to get off here in a few minutes and put them on. I got them in my chimney out there. I'm hoping it'll start raining on me though. Looks like it might start raining. I'm actually just gonna. My wife wanted some baked potatoes, so I'm just gonna kind of cook some potatoes out there on the grill. And that's about it. Actually, I'm going to cheat a little bit. We bought a couple of pre-made, or I bought a couple of pre-made pizzas that I'm going to add some homemade ingredients to. We got just a 5 cheese pizza, but I've got a lot of great garden heirloom tomatoes that I'm going to slice and just put on there, and then we're going to do that. It's kind of one of those semi homemade kind of things going on.
Awesome. Well, I want to tell you happy anniversary.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
22 years yesterday. My poor wife has been stuck with me for 22 years as of yesterday.
Congratulations. And cheers to your better half.
Yeah.
I'm cooking today. I'm trying to pair. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Tell us what you're cooking.
Oh, I'm cooking today. I roasted a chicken today and made some sage and onion stuffing. I'm going to try and pair with the alt beer. I did a little bit of food pairing with it. It has a bit of caramel in it. And so I thought that the roast chicken would be nice with it. And I'm going to make a balsamic glaze to go over the breast. You know how I like to do, right? Like I like to joke and say I've cooked this same bird at least 5 times already. I like to do it different, as many different ways as I can. So that's going to be my first plating. I made a really nice sandwich that went with the alt beer, and that was brie and turkey and apples.
Oh, very interesting.
And I thought that went really well, right? Because alt beer had that light ribbon of nutty caramel in it, and it just complemented the apples really well. But it wouldn't be Sunday if I wasn't cooking something.
Yeah, typically I do a big thing on Sunday too, but my wife and I just got back in getting things unpacked, so we're keeping it rather simple today. So as I finish this, I'm down to my last swallow here. Any final thoughts on your beer or?
I'm gonna review this one. Actually, I think this is well done, and I don't think it has any adjuncts in it. I'll give you a quickie review. This pours clear. And this one was kind of flat. I didn't get a huge head off this, but when I poured this the first time, I got a good 2 fingers of tan foam. There's some lazy bubbles wafting upwards, and it's got a nice toasty scent, right? A little biscuity toastiness, and then a light, mild herbal. And it drinks crisply, no offsets, no flavors. One last sip, and finishes with just a little bit of bitterness, to finish it, and leave you tasting just a mild floral and the malty textures.
So from the angle I'm getting, that looks like a smaller Pilsner glass. Did it hold the 12 ounces?
No, this is my favorite new glass. I bought this at Genesee, at the brewery at Genesee. I wish I had bought like a dozen, because this is my new favorite glass. This is 6 or 8 ounces.
Okay, yeah, it looked like a small glass. Yeah, I thought it looked like maybe a 10-ounce glass, but yeah, I was wondering.
No, and I call it the farmer's glass because you can put any beer in it. It's just a little bit tapered. I've been using it for every kind of beer. I don't think the nose suffers at all from being in this glass. And I'm a girl, so it gives me two pours out of a 12-ounce, which tricks me into thinking I had a little more.
So it's a half Pilsner glass. It looks, yes, little dwarf baby Pilsner glass.
And I like it, frankly, on the table and with the plate, right? If you're gonna pour another thing that you got to be careful of, right, is if you're gonna pair beer with food, you're adding a ton of calories every time you add a beer to a meal. So doing it in this glass helps that, because like you get 2 pours out of a 12-ounce thing, and it looks nice next to the plate. It's not too big.
There you go. Hey, I'm Ken the Beer Whisperer. I want to thank Maria Devon for joining me for this kind of impromptu Beer Whisperer pub video. Thanks for joining me for this session, Maria.
Cheers. Thank you for inviting me, Tom, and let's do it again.
We will. All right, thanks. And we're off.